Alright, so what do we have next? We have finished the logical operators, comparison operators, arithmetic operators, and then we are left with operator precedence. So what is operator precedence? Let's do a quick exercise. Now you must be knowing what a BMI is, right? Body mass index. So given a weight and a height, there's a metric called BMI that's used to determine if you're obese or not. For example, the weight is 85 kilos and the height is 1.8 meters. So unfortunately, you can't use inches or pounds for this. You have to use kilos and meters to get this measure. So let's take these and execute. So we have a height and weight, and the BMI is equals weight divided by height squared. Now this is the exponentiation operation. We have already seen this in one of the previous chapters. So the expression for this is weight. So BMI equals weight divided by height squared. Let's see how Python evaluates this. So BMI is weight by height squared. Execute it, and then let's see what the value of BMI is. 26.2. So anything above 25 is calculated as obese, and anything below 25 is not obese. Now tell me something. The way we have written this in Python is we said weight divided by height squared, right? So this is height squared, and then we said weight divided by height. Why is it that weight was not divided by height before we did the exponentiation? Why is it that Python has intelligently done the exponentiation first, and then weight was divided by what was obtained by squaring the height? So there are two ways in doing this, right? So one is first you do the weight by height and then square it, which is not correct, which is this way of doing it is saying weight by height squared. This is not the correct formula, right? This is the correct formula. This is wrong. But what prevented Python from doing this way of calculating the BMI? Because this over here, the way we have written it, to a human, this is a little bit ambiguous, right? Because we are not telling which operation should be done first, whether this should be done first or whether these two operands should be done first. The reason Python has done it correctly, luckily, is because of a concept called operator precedence. So what is an operator precedence? So when you combine multiple operators into an expression, like the one that we have seen here, there is a precedence based on which Python does these operations. So power or the exponentiation operation has higher precedence than division. And that's the reason why first it has done the squared and then done the division. Let's see a simple example. So say we want to divide 2 plus 3 divided by 5. This could be defined in two ways. So you're saying 2 plus 3 by 5. This is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is 2 plus 3 by 5. Now sometimes you need control on which way you want to do it. You could do it one way number 1, or method number 2. It depends on what you really want to do. But the way you write this in Python or any language is a bit confusing, because in this case you say 2 plus 3 divided by 5. This actually is evaluated like this, because the slash operator or the division operator has more precedence, or it binds more tightly than the plus operator. This has less precedence. Now when I mean precedence, it's all in comparison, meaning compared to the plus operator, the division operator has more precedence. Now in the previous case, compared to the division operator, the exponentiation operator had more precedence. So precedence is always in comparison. When you put two operators together, which operator does Python give precedence to? So similarly, when you do 2 multiplied by 3 divided by 5, will 2 be multiplied by 3 first and then divided by 5? Or 3 be divided by 5 multiplied by 2? Well, the division is done first and the multiplication is done later. That is because, again, division has more precedence, multiplication has less precedence, right? So you don't have to remember all of this. There's a chart that Python provides. So for example, if you just click on this link, operator precedence from Python docs. So here are the list of all operations and their precedence. Now these are defined in the order of low to high. Meaning, let's go to the plus and minus. Okay, there we go. So we are here, right? Plus and minus has lower precedence when compared to star and slash. So this is higher precedence. So this is even higher precedence. And this is even higher. So as we go down this list, the precedence increases for that operator, right? Like I said, you don't have to remember any of this stuff. As you keep going through the language, you'll understand ways in which you don't have to define things this way. You probably never have to understand this except in situations where somebody has written a piece of code and they might not have used the parentheses properly, and you'll have to check which part is evaluated first. That's probably the only case in a real Python programmer's life where you'd have to look at these precedences. All right. Now, luckily, like I said, you wouldn't have to worry about all these precedences. There is a clever way that any programming language gives you, not just Python, and that's using parentheses. When you put parentheses, what happens is anything within parentheses is evaluated first, right? So when you say 2 plus 3 by 5, like so, 2 plus 3 by 5, and you try to evaluate this, or let's say 5 by 5, right? 5 by 5 results in 1, and that is added to 2. So this becomes 3. What if you want to say 2 plus 5? First calculate what is 2 plus 5 and then divide it by 5. The way to do that is by saying 2 plus 3, right, divided by 5. So when you encapsulate 2 and 3 together in this parenthesis and divide it by 5, the parenthesis is evaluated first and then the division. So this is 2 plus 3, 5 divided by 5 is 1. You see, the result is entirely different, right? So use parentheses always when you have multiple operators, especially numeric ones, the precedence for which you don't understand.